Yeah, so we good. Back
All
on deck
right.
again. So
Looks
you can
like
go
we
ahead.
live. MarcWes Sports Podcast. I'm Marcus Benjamin, chilling with my guy Wesley Pierre, giving you real sports talk from the crib. And one of the stories that's been kind of hanging over my head, besides that whole Cormani McLean story, I don't know if we even spoke about that, about him going to Colorado.
Yeah,
Um,
we kind of touched on that. You know,
yeah,
I don't really even want to talk about his ass no more. He's
right,
not a
right.
king. There's no point of even much mention his name.
Yeah, that's basically it because I'm just glad that that story is over, and I'm glad that this Josh Gaddis firing story is over as well because it's been hanging over my head for the past couple of months. This is something that we basically kind of knew about. We're just kind of being hush about because that's basically what we're supposed to do until official word basically comes out or we're kind of allowed to kind of break certain stories. But Josh Gaddis finally fired offensive coordinator. Now we're on the search for a new OC, and for me, it's got to be a splash higher. It can't be like some OC that nobody knows, or preferably it's got to be like a former head coach or somebody that was in the NFL. Something like that has to pop off. You can check canescounty.com for a list of candidates that I put together. There's a couple of other names on that weren't on there that I wasn't sure should be on there, that have kind of come up as some names, and that's T. Martin, the former Tennessee quarterback, and he also did some coaching at Memphis, and also Dan Mullen, who was the former head coach at Mississippi State, former head coach at Florida. He's been in broadcast. He's working for ESPN right now. So other names to just kind of keep in mind are Joe Brady. Joe Brady is the guy who helped LSU win a championship with Burrow and them. And he is the quarterbacks coach right now for Buffalo. He's interviewing for jobs for the Jets and Chargers. Kind of a long shot. But the name that people get most excited about, and I know you'll get excited about this one too, Wes, is Ken Dorsey, bro. Ken Dorsey, former quarterback at Miami, quarterback the best team in college football in 2001, probably the best,
Mm-hmm.
one of the best teams in 2000 as well. But we got robbed because that's what they do to us. Um,
Yeah.
and he is the OC for the Buffalo Bills. They exited the playoffs. There's a lot of talk about him, letting him go based on their performance in the playoffs against the Cincinnati Bengals. But yeah, just with all of that, Wes, what are your thoughts on the next OC? Who you want? Gaddis being fired? How you feeling?
First, I'm feeling excited. You see the shirt. It's like we both was in each other's window. We spoke with each other before jumping on the show. We both are wearing the University of Miami logo. Um, and this is the reason why I'm wearing it. Josh Gaddis is gone. He's fired. Found out early this morning. As soon as I heard it, I posted it on our Instagram page. But I felt so good because I'm like, damn, this shit just been lingering and kind of effing up our chances of landing, transfers because they don't know who's going to be the offensive coordinator. In regards to him, he's not showing up to see these players and that's showing up and you're not part of the process. And everybody know that Mario Cristobal, he's A1 first quarter when it comes to recruiting. That's what he do. He don't sleep, and everybody around him, they're kind of in the same mode. They're not as as on point like Mario Cristobal, but just being on the staff with somebody like him on the helm at the helm, it feels good. But to see Josh Gaddis not be around and to see us last year like the worst numbers, especially what FSU getting our ass whooped. All of us was mad because it just was like, the game was over in like the first quarter, and that's all behind our offensive coordinator. You won this award. And it seemed like that you got that award from favoritism. It's not because of the work that you've done, and I was kind of questioning why they let you go last year to even join the University of Miami. It felt like it was a steal, but it looked like we just got somebody's trash. And now we're getting rid of that trash again. So that is a good thing. As far as the people that I want to be offensive coordinator, of course you spoke of Coley before. Of course I heard of Ken Dorsey, and I also heard of Brian Hartline, possibly last year, almost coming to the University of Miami. And I think, I don't know if it's far-fetched now. I think he got a promotion now. But still, just the plain fact that that he's going for these big names. Again, last year we were all kind of bewildered, like, what's going on? It's taking so long for Mario Cristobal, not Mario Cristobal, but the University of Miami to go ahead and hire a coach. And then we got Mario Cristobal. We got all these individuals, being the top tier staff. What we were saying is like an all-star team in regards to the coaching staff, for him to for the University of Miami to take their time in that regard, and then we wind up being successful for who we wind up landing in Mario Cristobal. I don't see no problem with taking your time with these names that you just alluded to and I alluded to, because it's time to for a splash. We can't, like you said, you can't grab somebody that nobody knows. It got to be one of these names like, oh my God, yeah, really? Oh, you got him? Oh, no. Now you know what we're working with. Now, me personally, I thought that they were trying to have Josh Gaddis find another job. I heard like Iowa. I heard other places. I heard he was interviewing for the NFL. But again, after a season that you just showed, nobody really want to hire somebody like that. And I think not Mario Cristobal, but the University of Miami in whole just didn't want to pay that tab to, wind up paying him. We already had to pay $500,000 last year to get him out of his contract. Now I don't know how much he's getting paid here or was getting paid here, but for them to be taking their time, and I'm not worried about it. Of course, it may had some negative effects, because of course you had the guy go to FSU. I think Hakeem something or whatever like that. Wide receiver. He went
Williams.
Exactly. He went to FSU, and I think that you was one of the reasons, Gaddis. So again, in regards to anybody that Mario Cristobal gets, I think would put a better performance on the field than Josh Gaddis. And if it's one of those three names that we just spoke on, like, come on, it's a win for me, because again, after having one of our worst seasons, and I hated a lot of our former coaches, a lot of our former coaching staffs, and I forgot the guy with the tie, Al Golden and other head coaches, but at least we were scoring. It just was like we took a step back. It kind of last year made me remember what happened before we had Lashley. So just the plain fact that we could go ahead and get anybody like Ken Dorsey, we could talk to him now. They're out of the playoffs. Happy that they got their ass kicked out of the playoffs. But yeah, I want something refreshing. You know what I'm saying? Something that's gonna make me feel good about myself. So
yeah, absolutely. Just for clarity, Hakeem Williams, I don't think they really wanted him. To be honest, just because for me, I think he was maybe not the player that they were kind of going for. But now looking back at it, they could have used a guy like that, just as a buddy is concerned. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Miami definitely needs a splash hire, because it's Miami, man. Miami needs someone to really kind of get excited about, just like you said. And there's a lot of names, like I said, that can get you excited. A name to keep in mind, Wes, is Marcus Arroyo. This was his OC when he was at Oregon. So
Okay.
when Oregon went to the Rose Bowl and Justin Herbert, he was the OC for them, and he just got fired by UNLV as a head coach. He was the head coach at UNLV and just got fired, so he's available. So that is a name to kind of consider as well, and I wouldn't be too mad at that. Because it's a guy that Cristobal is familiar with. I mean, that seems like those are the type of guys that he likes, guys that he's worked with. He worked with Gaddis. He was at Alabama, so that's why he kind of brought him in. He kind of knew him from when he was working with Gaddis at Alabama. So I wouldn't be surprised if he also decided to bring him back. James Coley seems like should be the right guy because he went to Miami High. He coached at Norland. He coached for Al Golden, like you said, when we were actually scoring points. And I don't think there's a lot of. He's currently at Texas A&M, but I don't think there's a lot of. There's just not a lot of benefits at Texas A&M. Texas A&M had a bad season, just like we did. So why not come back home to a place where you grew up at, So
Yeah,
James Coley definitely a name to kind of watch. You spoke about Brian Hartline. Everybody's like, yeah, I mean, how's that even possible? It's possible because money is possible. Like, well, once you offer somebody a certain amount of money and be like, hey, we'll offer you this, then hey, anything can happen, because I think that was kind of could be like the whole issue with Hartline. If they were able to get Hartline, man, they'll be able to get Jeremiah Smith. And you're going to hear me talk about Jeremiah Smith for the next year because he is absolutely the best receiver in the nation. He's a great kid. Love talking to him. He respects me because I was one of the first guys to kind of bring him out after he won a state championship with Shanad. This kid is he's just outstanding. And he saw him last. I was at a huge 7-on-7 tournament last weekend called Battle Miami, and his team didn't do so well because I'm not gonna say why they didn't do so well, but they didn't live up to expectations. But it wasn't because of Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith, call him JJ, he is definitely one of the best wide receivers. The combination of size and speed is just uncanny. I think he's around 6'3", I believe, hovering around 200, but could run like a 4.4, maybe even a 4.3. Who knows how fast he is now? He just runs great routes. Can just high point the ball. He loves Brian Hartline, and he's committed to Ohio State. He is basically going to follow Brian Hartline wherever he goes because these boys, they're going to go to the NFL. And what team has put more players in the NFL from college in these past few years? It's been Ohio State. We see Olave and Jigba and Garrett Wilson. Like, these are recent guys that are made it to the NFL, and they love this guy. And Brian Hartline obviously has ties to South Florida, drafted by the Miami Dolphins, still has a house in Plantation, I hear. So he would like he is entertaining the idea of coming back home, so to speak. So it's all about those dollars, though, man. You got to offer something to him to entice him to kind of come down here. But we'll see how that all plays out. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks to see who this OC is going to be. My preference, to be honest, I think would be Ken Dorsey, man. Like that would be my preference just because he's a quarterback. And the other thing too is that stop with the whole nonsense of having a quarterback's coach. Quarterback's coach and the OC should be the same guy.
same thing.
That should be the same guy. If you are operating the offense, that means you you're basically one step above the quarterback. Why do you need a quarterback's coach? And I think that was part of the problem with Miami. I think Frank Ponce and Josh Gaddis didn't. I think they bumped heads, and
Yeah, they did.
and they weren't working well together, and that usually doesn't work with college football teams. You just need one OC that is basically your quarterback's coach, and then you have a separate wide receivers coach, who just works with the wide receivers and who recruits the wide receivers. So I think that was the issue. So we're not only looking for an OC, but we're also looking for a wide receivers coach. So we'll see what happens in the upcoming days. It should be fun though, to see exactly what happens.
Yeah, definitely. And that wide receiver that you said will follow Brian Hartline anywhere. I hear that his teammate possibly can go to the University of Miami. So if you can kind of like steer him in our direction, that would be great. I would love it. It won't be no insider anything, especially at this time right now. I don't think that people can communicate too much with players until like the February 1st signing day or something like that. But who do you think possibly we have left to possibly have a chance at signing February 1st?
Yeah.
Because like especially with this Josh Gaddis firing, I don't know if it's going to be a benefit or a negative. I mean, yeah, he hasn't been around to actually pick and choose certain players that's entering the transfer portal or anything like that, or possibly 2024 wide receivers. I don't know if it's going to be a benefit. I think it's a benefit because it's Josh Gaddis, but it could be a negative as well because it's so close to the signing day. I don't know, but they probably was already planning for this. I don't think that Mario Cristobal gonna drag his feet, knowing that everyone, all the Canes are talking about, and I don't think money was gonna be the thing that stops him from getting rid of what he wants Miami to be. So what do you think? Who do you think we have left possibly having a chance to sign, and do you think the Josh Gaddis firing possibly could have a negative or a positive effect on Miami?
I think now that he's finally fired, that it's only up from here. But I think maybe you wasted some time within this past month where you could have been recruiting some transfers. The transfer portal has closed. Like you can't, basically add on any other transfers at this point until I believe until like May. So yeah, we were hoping to get at least one transfer wide receiver and did not get that. So I think that kind of hurt. But from this point forward, I think until you get an OC, it's still hurting because you don't have an OC. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a wide receivers coach. So you may miss out on potentially recruiting some players, but they're pretty much done with the 2023 class, except for maybe two players. One, Jamel Howard, who is a defensive tackle, 3-star out of Chicago. He's actually visiting this weekend. From what I hear, Miami has a good chance of getting this guy signed for signing day next Wednesday. So look out for him.
How did he look? His size?
His size? Actually, don't know exactly what size. I can look it up. But while I do that, I am going to talk about another player who I'm really excited about. But I don't want to get people too excited about us landing.
Get me excited.
But he is so the defensive tackle is 6'3",
Ooh, yeah, that's the frame I need. But yes.
So 6'3", 320, 3-star guy. Wisconsin, I think it's like kind of the team to kind of watch here because they kind of developed a relationship more so with him closer to home. He's from Chicago, like I said, but it's cold up there. You want to come down here at the crib, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully Miami really, does the job and shows him a good time this weekend, and we get another guy on the defensive tackle position, which we need. Another player, like I said, the player that I want to get you excited about is Nicholas Harbor, man. 6'5", 225, and is a track star, like a runner,
Yeah.
track star, like Olympic track speed, bro. Like he's
Me.
fast. I want to say he runs like I had it. So let me just go back to
Johnson?
the stories that I wrote. But he is like,
DK Metcalf?
yeah, he's of that type. He's of that type. Receiver or tight end. Wants to play receiver, but this dude is just super fast. I mean, he is like definitely wants to track and play football.
Yes,
And he also also wants to study medicine and be an orthopedic surgeon.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, and you already know Miami's got, one of the best medical schools when it comes to Power 5 football programs. So it's really
Track
kind
and
of
field.
every track as well. So it's really everything that he needs. But the thing is that Miami's late in the game. And the thing about recruiting, once you start early in the game, you have that inside track. These kids think like, okay, well, this school has been down for me since day one. I'm going to go with them type of thing. So that is what Miami has playing against them with Oregon, South Carolina, and Maryland, where he's from. He's from D.C. So Maryland is in play because, he may want to stay home. But he is going to be visiting Oregon this weekend. I think Oregon is really the team to try to
Man.
out here because they also have an outstanding track program. I'm not sure how good they are with as far as medicine is concerned. But and then he wants to go to a proven winner, which Oregon has been that for the past few years as well. But Mario Cristobal did go in for an in visit this week, so hopefully they gave him a lot to think about. And from what I heard as well is that his people met, or his agent also met with Mark, the Hurricanes peoples or whatnot. So there is talks about Nicholas Harbor. The other thing that put Miami behind the eight ball too is that they started recruiting him as a defensive end. He played defensive end at his school. He played defensive end and he played receiver. But he wants to play receiver. He wants to score touchdowns. He wants to be on the offensive side of the ball. So at first they were setting up, Jason Taylor to recruit him because they thought he was going to be a defensive end, which he would be an outstanding defensive end. I think it's more of a project if he's trying to be a receiver, and he's kind of the raw straight line speed type of guy. He's not very shifty either. He's more just like, once I get the ball, I'm gone type of thing. And you got to have some wiggle, some shift to you if you're going to be a wide receiver. So we'll see what happens there. But those are the only two guys that we're really looking at. Jim Howard, the D tackle, and then Nicholas Harbor. And if I bet on anything, I would say we get Jamel Howard, but I'd say we probably don't get Nicholas Harbor. But we'll see, because these things change so fast, and especially nowadays with NIL in play, these things change, and these kids change their minds. So we'll see what happens next Wednesday.
Yeah, they definitely changing their minds. We just was scolded not too long ago by somebody. So I do understand how kids can change their minds when they're saying they're going to be here and they're not here. So it's all good. But yeah, man, from what you're saying, like, I think Oregon's the big problem, because you seen like Nike sponsors them. You seen that track that they got? I seen it a few years back when they had remodeled it or gave it an upgrade. So I don't know what Miami's doing with their track and field down here. Of course, we normally have these individuals that do play two sports known in Miami for the longest. It hasn't been like that in the recent years, but I mean, you could go to the Santana Moss days and certain stuff like that. These guys used to play track all the time and then jump right on the field and mutt people, just kind of like Dion. I'm gonna play football and I'm gonna go ahead and play baseball same day. So that's kind of one of the things that I want them to bring back to college sports. Like especially football, like play multiple sports, play multiple positions. And whatever lands you that money, because Marcus, I'm like you right now, give him the bag. However you can get the bag, go ahead and get it. So hey, if he's like what you're saying, like DK Metcalf, as far as how he's built, and you got track speed, probably Olympic track speed, the way you speaking, it's a 50-50 between Miami and Oregon with me. Hopefully it's Miami, because we do need that big physical receiver. We don't have that. We only got Kobe Young right now. And as far as being the, that dominant receiver as far as with the physicality, but everybody else that we got coming in seems nice. Back to that individual from Chaminade. Please talk to your homeboy, shift them in our direction. I love that.
But, the other receiver you was talking about was Josiah Trader, and he's not as good as at Jeremiah Smith, but he is also outstanding player as well. I like him a lot. I think Miami has a chance to land him as well. He actually left Miami Central to play with Jeremiah Smith. So they are boys, they are good friends. And he left, and leaving Miami Central is usually not taken very well. You know what I'm saying? When you don't leave a Miami Central, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Chaminade is a great program too. I mean, it's one of the top 5 programs in South Florida, but no player really does that. And so he really wanted to play with JJ, and they obviously won a state championship last year, as well as Central. But that's how tight. So it could be a two package deal. I mean, it could, wherever one goes, the other one may go. I mean, from what I hear, JJ's trying to get him to go to Ohio State, and I think JoJo is leaning toward Miami at this point of his process. And if he ends up committing, he may want to try to convince him to Miami. So that's going to be an interesting story all year, to kind of see what goes on there between those two. But we'll see how it all goes down.
Yeah, definitely. But yes, same sport, kind of the same team, but not. I want to go ahead and re-talk about the Ed Reed situation. When we spoke on it last time, he had his rant. He was having a whole bunch of F-bombs, this, that, and the other. I actually spoke to what's his name, Coach Fraser, currently the principal at Miami Turner Tech Senior High School. He was telling, I had to holler at him about something else, and he telling me like I'm the first coach for Booker T, and we chopping it up for a little while. He got the championship on the wall, so we chopping it up, and then we spoke on the Dion. Not Dion, but the Ed Reed situation. And, he made me look at it a little different, because I was like, it's a good thing. Sometimes you got to, expose people to, have some type of semblance of a change. You see that right now in police reform, now that they got the cameras, a lot of police officers, they're getting exposed for being unfit police officers. Just recently, there was, something that happened where, I guess they, was using nightsticks on an individual for something. They got fired, but it's all over the news now. But yeah, regardless of the fact, going back to what we're discussing now, he was like, look, he should have kept that in house. And in my head, while he's saying it, because I already have my views speaking on you, I'm like, nah, but I'm speaking to a principal. I got to be respectful. But we just chopping it up like dudes, just no beer, because we're in the school right now. So we're just drinking water and speaking. And he was like, people got to understand that, we're under funded and this, that, and the other. But for me, I was telling him like, you could have just picked up trash. You could have had his office clean, the bare minimum, sometimes it's not, even when it's, people, it's not the big things that you do for people, it's the small things that you do for people. Just show that he's welcome here. This is a Hall of Famer. This is somebody that from what I'm understanding, he could have been in Grambling and other opportunities that he just let go to the side because he wanted Bethune to get a certain caliber of a coach. And for me to see him get fired, not fired because he never really signed a contract, that just shows where his heart was at. You know what I'm saying? For you not to be even on contract, really, you've been on campus for like a month and you're seeing certain things that you want to get changed. And for me, I don't think that he just went on live and just started ranting, because that's what they're gonna say. It's a rant. Nah, it was not a rant. He was actually passionate about what he was actually seeing. For him to be not under contract, and I think he spoke to these individuals multiple times. After you speak to somebody multiple times, like, what do you want me to do now? Just keep talking? No,
Right.
you got to find another route. And sometimes exposing people, especially nowadays, this is the I don't want to say the Bible revelations, meaning revealed, but again, a lot of things are getting revealed right now in regards to politics and in regards to just people being insensitive. When it comes to just a lot of different things in this world. So for him to be that individual, to be passionate about it, I shared some of the views, but I just think that the way that they're doing him right now, you got the students protesting outside, saying that, showing the mold that's, on their clothes, on their hats. You had two players, saying that there's mold in the gloves. It smells like mold. You
Wow.
feel me? Sharing helmets, that have mold in it. All time, they're exposed. They're not just speaking on it, they're showing it. You know what I'm saying? And this is from players on the football team. This is from students on the campus. For all this to actually happen after he got fired, and for what the students and the players are saying, he got fired for speaking up for them because there's no one else to actually speak for them. They be saying, well, the students say, we've been complaining for the longest, but nothing ever happens. So what do you do now? What do you do now when you got someone that's I think he goes as Coach Kane, Ed Reed, Hall of Famer. When you have a player like that or a coach like that, an individual like that, that has all these accolades to his name, to get treated the way he's treated for actually looking out for your kids, my kids, your kids, the future kids. You send them to school to get a certain education. They're paying money to be over here. It's not like everybody that's at a HBCU got scholarships. Their parents got to pay for these books, pay for the dorms, pay for the space that they're living in, and for the space that they're living in to not be fit. And it's just one thing for me saying it. It's another thing for the kids saying it and showing it. You know what I'm saying? Because just like Ed Reed, they took a little they used this MO. I'm gonna expose the trash being on the floor. I'm gonna expose this room being like that. I'm gonna expose you to the world, especially right now, since the light is shined on them because of Ed Reed. This is the time to actually speak up as well. It's kind of like the Me Too movement. You feel what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is the right opportunity to jump on this because my voice was not being heard when it was just me. So now when it's a group of people speaking on the same topic, maybe some things change. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, my stance has kind of changed, man, because like at first I was like, man, don't put that out there because it'll be a negative perception of HBCUs, and I speak from experience. I went to HBCU, I went to FAMU, and it obviously wasn't the best. I mean, my dorm room was small, kid. It was like I was like on my bed and laying down, and I could literally touch my roommate's bed. That's how close the beds were to each other. And like, in order for me to have more space, because we both had a lot of stuff, I had to go get cement blocks, those cement blocks with the holes in them. Um,
Yeah.
I got two of those that well, four of those that we found, and I brought them in the dorm room to raise my bed up just so we can have more space. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody was sweating the idea though. Everybody was like, "Yo, look what these dudes did." But that's the type of stuff that we had to do, man. Like, it was. I mean, I don't regret the situation. I love being at FAMU. It was one of the greatest experiences I ever had. But it was not luxurious by any means. It wasn't Florida State, which was right across the street, across tracks, literally. You know what I'm saying? When people talk about across the tracks, it's different across the tracks. There's no better example than Tallahassee, Florida. Tallahassee, Florida is basically split up with train track. One side is quote unquote, nice or white, and the other side is the black side. And literally right in the middle, you got Florida State right there on that side, and you got FAMU on the other side. I mean, that's really kind of when I learned about, because Miami different, bro. Like, Miami is totally like different. It's like it's not even an American city for real. Certain big cities, I think, are different from most other cities. Like, this whole country is full of those type of towns, and you really got an idea of what America really is. And America is not Miami. Miami is like glamour, glitz. It's a melting pot. You meet so many people. I got so many friends from different backgrounds, like in these other towns, it's black and white. Or you may see a sprinkle of Mexicans here and there. And that's pretty much kind of the majority, I think, of American towns. But anyways, like, yeah, like for me to see, I saw the pictures and the videos myself of the mold and everything. The first thing that went through my head, and I don't even have a child. You got a child now, Wes. Like, the first thing that probably went through your head is probably like, yo, if I see the school that I sent my child to has mold on their sheets, bed, ceiling, the gloves that they playing football in, I'm taking them right out of that school like immediately. And I feel disrespected for even having them there for that long, or just, it's just, man, it's just a bad situation. And I think it did need to be exposed. I think it did need to be put out in the light. And maybe the way that he did it, maybe he could have did it differently, but it did need to be done, because now people are talking about it, right? Now people are like, hey, you know, people realize how bad it is with HBCUs. I mean, and these are some millionaires, right? Ed Reed didn't need his money, and they can't afford to pay him. They can't even clean up his office to really kind of roll out the red carpet for a Hall of Famer that could potentially change the program, not just the program, but the entire school, because that's what football teams do in America, right? Football teams change your whole perspective of school. Most people probably think Alabama is probably a really good school educationally just because they got a good football team, and that's not really the truth. You know what I'm saying? Alabama doesn't have the best education or anything like that, but people think that because their football team is good, so it would change the whole perception of that. And if they knew that, or if they grasped that concept, then they would do more, they would do better, or they would sure that he had everything he needed. And I didn't even know about the whole contract thing, about he didn't have a whole contract, so he wasn't even all in. Ed Reed was already just like had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. He just wanted to kind of find a way to stay or go, and he obviously saw a reason to go. And it's a disappointing situation, just because it's Ruben Bain's cousin goes to school. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of players that that from Florida go to Bethune because they can't get a scholarship at the big name schools, and it's disappointing. And the other thing too, that Bethune doesn't get state funding. You know, I
Right.
was because I believe it's a private school. It's a private school, so they're not getting state funding. So yeah, so that's an issue in itself because FAM is a state school and they get state funding and they still don't really look like no Florida State.
Yeah, but then you got state oversight. You feel what I'm saying? When you're a private school, then you don't really got people like really watching if you're really doing things how you're supposed to be doing. That's why it's private. So that could be a negative too. I didn't even know it was a private school. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, they don't get state funding. I heard from someone at that battle 7-on-7 that I went to that they don't get who went to Bethune saying that they don't get state funding. So that's an issue in itself. So yeah, it's just disappointing to see that at an HBCU, and that is going to um, deflect anybody who is thinking about going to Bethune. Anybody who's in high school right now is thinking about Bethune and see something like that and see the train wreck that it is. They're not gonna want to go there. They'll still maybe want to go to HBCU, but not Bethune. But hopefully they kind of get their act together. Maybe some of the alumni chip in and really start donating back to the school. That's really the only way that it's going to come back to a level that is respectable.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, as far as with the last statement you said, as far as with the alumni donating and stuff like that, when I read a lot of the comments in regards to him being fired, and the students talking and speaking out and this, that, and the other, I read a lot of alumni in the comments saying like we would donate, but we would ask where the money is going, and they would put so much of a hissy fit where they're like, man, here go your money back, because they don't want you to really follow where the money is going. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So those people that do donate and turn a blind eye, they're not the ones complaining because they could care less. Sometimes, when you donate, you get that tax break, when you do donations to certain things. So, and you got other people that donate because they're not worried about a tax break. Of course, the tax break is good, but I'm really doing it because my heart is behind this HBCU. Like yourself said, you went to HBCU, and look where you at now. You're the lead editor at CanesCounty.com and Rivals.com. You got a lot of accomplishments that came behind being in that struggling situation, finding ways to find more space in the room, finding sometimes it's not where you get, is like how you got there. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the struggling or not having the best situation made you a little stronger, made you a little bit more ambitious, made you a better person. So hopefully like you said, they could turn this into a positive, because right now there's a lot of negative light shined on the HBCUs, not just because of Ed Reed, but what Deion Sanders been alluding to the last few years at Jackson State University. So hey, I'm black, and I definitely want HBCUs to do good. But if you're stealing money, if you're not allocating the money how you're supposed to be, then you're just as worse as your I guess Caucasian schools, or predominantly white schools. You know what I'm saying? Because you're basically doing what we do now. You're killing your own. You're stealing from your own. Just like black on black crime. We kill each other at a high rate. We're stealing from each other. Like, come on, man. We need to go ahead and expose those individuals that's doing these things. So we'll see.
Yeah. I definitely don't want to deter anybody going to a HBCU listening to this, because the HBCU experience is very unique, and it's something that I would do again. I just felt I learned a lot about Black culture. And me and you, Wes, we Haitian. We grew up in Miami, right? We're Black Americans, but we're not from Black culture historically from America, if that makes any sense. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so I think you learn a lot about what it is to be Black in America, and what 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 Black people had to do in this country to kind of get here. And it really kind of just blew my mind that we had schools like Florida A&M who was around since the 1800s. You telling me there was a school since the 1800s that
What?
yeah, like a lot of these schools are from that far, are that old, and there were people who were just fighting just for education, because I don't want to make this a whole history thing, history, but like, because of slavery and because of oppression, like people, because of slavery, it's like you're getting free labor, right? You're getting
Mm-hmm.
free labor, and that means you are already ahead of any other races in America because you're getting free labor and you've got all that money. Now you start to build schools, and you're going to put all your money in these grandiose schools,
Mm-hmm.
and you say, I don't want these Black people in my grandiose schools, right? So you now have money, and you now have better quality, I guess you could say, education. So that's starting to build for generations, right? So so Black people are set back in that respect. Like you have to catch up to what has been built by generations of white people due to getting free labor, not allowing Black people to have your prestigious get into your prestigious institutions. So, and then thus that builds wealth, businesses. Now I'm white, I got businesses, I got education, my kids are educated, and now I can hire more white people for these businesses. I'm not going to hire these Black people because I don't like them for whatever reason, obviously because they're Black. So that sets them back as well. So it's like, for me to see that throughout all of that, there were all of these historically Black colleges and universities that were able to kind of pull through all of that oppression to still build what they have. It just gave me more sense of pride of what it is to be Black in America. And
Yeah,
then
definitely.
and then not only that, you just meet people from all over the country. Miami Black people a certain way, Black people from LA are different. Black people, I met Black people from Alaska, bro. Like you meet people from all over the country, so you get to kind of experience different type of Black people, and then you kind of realize how different Miami is from everywhere else.
Oh yeah,
Because
we always say that.
yeah, because people from outside of Miami, they would recognize I was from Miami off top. They would be like, "Oh, you from Miami, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah, how you know?" You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know, it's a certain kind of way I guess we carry ourselves. We're used to everything. We're used to the limelight. We used to, like, I mean, I went to clubs and Trick Daddy was there, and I didn't blink. He was just like a regular,
Yeah.
you know, and Rick Ross the same way. Like I used to see him, I
Mm-hmm.
used to see Trina driving around,
Mm-hmm.
like, and this was like in like the 90s, early in 2000s, and for people outside of Miami, that's like a big thing, or especially like small towns in Florida, like that's like a huge thing. But anyways, but other people from big cities, you kind of connect with them. You kind of be like, okay, their life is kind of similar to yours, so to speak. Everybody's different, but like you're used to the big city life, so you kind of connect on that level. But yeah, HBCU experience is just amazing. And I wouldn't want to you know talk bad about the experience at all. And I just want to make sure that if anybody who's thinking about HBCU, definitely go do it. But just make sure you check the facilities and make sure if there's mold in there. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
definitely. Yeah, me, I was like, as far as what HBCUs, I didn't care. I was not even thinking, you know, living a certain lifestyle when I was younger. I was not even even though I got good grades, I was not even thinking about college more so. So, I didn't take the SATs. I didn't do anything. You feel me? I just went to Dade. They take that placement test. They score you, and I graduated from there. But, I was not really worried about the life. I kind of like the way Miami-Dade was. You go in, you do your shit, and you get out. And,
Yeah.
for what you were just talking about, Miami is a certain city. Is bright lights. It's a different city. So maybe these other cities that's like you say, FSU on this side, and you got the HBCU on this side. Maybe it's like that over there, but over here, I could go to Miami-Dade, do my shit, and then I'm going back to the limelight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a difference. So, but yeah, man, enough about the HBCUs, college right now. We'll go ahead and transition into same sport, different team. It is the
Yeah.
Miami Dolphins. Not too much about the Miami Dolphins, but I've been hearing that we probably gonna have a new defensive coordinator, and I think they're saying that we possibly grabbed the one that came from Denver, Vangio or something like that.
Okay.
I'm like, hold up. Like Denver defense been stopped for the last few years since he's been there. Top 5 defense. Even last year, like they could have been a serious threat last year if the offense, would have played their part, because the defense was keeping them in games, low score games all the time. If Russell, would have done his thing, they probably would have been in a better boat. But I don't care if it wind up meaning that we're going to go ahead and get that defensive coordinator over here, because I mean, for a lot of times that I was getting pissed off was the enigma defense. You know what I'm saying? You blitzing everybody and you leaving your corners on the island by themselves. You got X-Men battling injuries. You feel me? You got Byron Jones gone. You got Brandon Jones, our other safety, he's gone. Nick Needham gone. So why are we blitzing like that? Especially when, for me, the Dolphins, we have like one of the best D lines in the league right now. We got Chubb, and we got Jalen Phillips on the other side. You feel me? With the pass rush, you got Christian Wilkins, defensive tackle. I think he's rated the number 1 defensive tackle as far as this year in regards to. I know, of course, I know you guys are probably like, well, it's Aaron Donald. Nah, as far as with tackles for losses, he leads the league with tackles for losses. So yeah, I know we have Aaron Donald and these other defensive tackles that have been in the game for a while, that possibly got a better resume than him. But for this last year, he was doing his thing. So for us to get a defensive coordinator that I think would be better than actually our former defensive coordinator, and not just that, but our former defensive coordinator. You remember he was defensive coordinator and Flores had took the job back from him because that first year he was looking kind of, not the first year, the second year, he was looking kind of suspect, something like that around them lines. He was the defensive coordinator, but our head coach had to go ahead and take a lot of the play calling or take the mantle from him. You know what I'm saying? Because, when you're the head coach, you got other shit you got to worry about. You got to worry about special teams, offense, defense. You got to worry about everything. So him giving him that title, and for him not to even keep that title, it showed. So why are we even bringing him back after getting rid of Brian Flores? I think that was the worst thing that they could. I understand you want to keep things the same, but that's typical Miami Dolphins. We hire a coach, but you got to be with this guy, or you got to be with that guy, or this, that, and the other. It's like you're kind of trying to make things mix that doesn't match. It's kind of like with Ponce and Gaddis, 2 people that just doesn't mix. You know what I'm saying? And you see how soon they parted. Thank God for Mario Cristobal. He didn't take that long to figure it out, and let it linger. But yes, going back to the Miami Dolphins, I'm just like, yo, he shouldn't have been here. We have plenty of players over here that I felt was decent. That we could have done a lot of good things. It's 3-8, 3-10. We're blitzing, and now it's a first down. Why is that? Why are we not playing coverage? Why are we not doing certain things? And I'm not a coach, but damn, I have goddamn common sense. And it seemed like he didn't have the common sense that we needed him to have. You know what I'm saying? So if we could go ahead and get a good defensive coordinator. Again, like I said, I heard we already interviewed the former defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, his name is Vic Fangio.
Yeah, you feel what I'm saying? So we interviewed him already. He already got a history with Chubb. If Chubb can be Chubb of the Denver Broncos and not the Chubb that we seen last year because he was injured, if we could get something, some type of semblance of that because of this defensive coordinator, like, come on, man. And the Dolphins are always known for defense. Even when our offense trash, we was always known for defense. I don't know what happened these last few years.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, they need to do something because the offense seems like it could be clicking with anybody, to be honest. I hope Tua comes back, but I think Mike McDaniel, I think he's the guy, bro. I really think he is the guy to just man this offense because we almost beat Buffalo with Skylar Thompson, bro. We almost beat the Buffalo Bills with Skylar Thompson. Like, because I think the offense is in a good place, and I think they could add just some more bodies on the offensive line because obviously Teron Armstead's got injury issues, and just the offensive line period usually get hurt. There's usually some kind of injuries on the offensive line, so I'd like to see them maybe draft a couple in this upcoming draft just to protect Tua. But the defense, I think you got players. I think he got fired because I think McDaniel realized like he could win with this defense because Javon Holland's been balling. Javon Holland, to me, is the best player on the team. Chris Wilkins is balling. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Jalen Phillips, and you got Melvin Gordon, who's been balling too. Nick Chubb, you mentioned. The Landon Roberts, I think, is probably an unsung hero that most people don't even talk about. He's been playing really well. He's been making plays, and Jerome Baker's been playing well. So you only maybe a few other players away from really having maybe a top 5 type of defense. But even with all those, you can't be like one of the worst in the league. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it was. I think they were like 27th to 28th in the league or something like that. So I think that's when Mike McDaniels was like, hey, I got all these balls on this team. Like, why do we have to, like be in these shootouts? Like they were in a shootout with Detroit, shootout with Chicago,
You're right.
Why are you in a shootout with Chicago? You don't need to be in a shootout with Chicago. Once you beat 30 points, this should be done, So
the quarterback broke a record on us running. And we played Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson hasn't broke a record like that on us running. We had their quarterback break records on us, 200 yards rushing.
So I think McDaniel was right to fire them. I don't know if it was him or the GM, Chris Greer, who ended up firing these guys because it wasn't just the DC. I think they fired the running backs coach and not the running backs coach, the linebackers coach, and I think the DBs coach, I believe. I know it was 3 of them that they let go. So I'm glad to see that because the old Dolphins would have just let shit ride out. They would have just like, oh, let's just run it back again. But this is an era where we like, hey, we got a quarterback that can get us there. We'll continue to build the O-line. Our running back good enough. Our receivers are good enough. Tight ends good enough. And we got good players on defense. And I mentioned all those players, not even mentioning Xavier Howard. You know what I'm saying? With an interception, I think it was on. So he's still out there as well. So I don't see any reason why this defense can't be better. And if they get Vic Fangio, I think they will be.
Yeah, definitely. Like, as long as Tua can stay healthy, I think that we're gonna be good. I know you're not that confident in Tua right now. A lot of people not.
I'm
Even
confident
me.
in staying healthy. I'm confident if when he's healthy, I have all the confidence in the world in him. But
Oh,
I'm not confident he could stay upright or his head gonna be right. I heard he's still in the concussion protocol right now. I think that's bullshit. I think they just don't want him to play in the Pro Bowl. So
mhm.
they just don't say he's in a concussion protocol because nobody in concussion protocol for this long. Like, come on,
Yeah,
like
of course, and not just that, but I seen when he had that concussion the second time. I don't know if it was the second or the third time when his he was throwing up gang signs on what some commentators were saying, and he came back 2 weeks later. So for him to suffer a concussion that seemed like it was not as bad as the second one, maybe, you know what I mean? The last one wasn't as bad. But again, I ain't no doctor, so I can't tell you. Of course, the third time something happens to you, of course, it's probably worse. But if you talking about the actual hit, it was not even a hit, really. It was a tackle. He just landed wrong. We've been speaking like this for the longest. It seems like he finds himself in peculiar situations as far as how people tackling him, how he's falling. And we were saying that a long time ago. It's just like he's so unlike. I'm like, damn. Like, I understand with the slides. A lot of quarterbacks have a hard time sliding, especially with cleats on. But just random falling. Like, yo, you've been playing football. You made it to the NFL and you don't know how to fall right now. Like, that's the shit that's kind of having me kind of like, yo, what's going on? But
yeah,
like,
man.
if he could stay healthy, man, I still have the confidence in the arm of the Almighty Tua. You feel me? Unlike my counterpart right here, Marcus Benjamin.
We'll
But
see.
I'm kind of like, getting to the point where the frustration is outweighing the talent for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna give him this other year. I'm gonna give him the year, the benefit of the doubt. Because again, for me, last year was really his first year. Because when you had a coach that kind of was sabotaging him, I mean, if you're at a job, a working environment, and your supervisor, your manager wants you not to be on, like, not working, they're gonna put you in situations where it always looks negative on your side. So I think that's what happened with Brian Flores. So again, when we have McDaniel's confidence in Tua, going over 700 plays, with Tua, um, practically saying, like, I used the whole season trying to change people's mind on Tua, Marcus Benjamin. Um, you know what I'm saying? It didn't take you that long. It took you two games. I think it
2
was the
games.
second or third game.
A
But
second
but
game.
but again, like you
Second
said,
game.
you're confident in the arm, you're confident in the vision, you're just not confident in the health. So again, when he wind up showing you that he can go a full season, you
I'm
know,
waiting. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for the full season, bro. I cannot
he
see it.
only got one more year. He only got one more year to prove that.
I need to see it one full season from Tua, and I'll be happy. But we'll see it. We'll see if that happens, bro.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, did you see Tom Brady? We talking about Tua, but damn, Tom Brady down here, man. He over here. Of course, he
Yeah,
already in Florida because of Tampa, but he's over here registering his kids to
yeah,
go to
Miami.
school.
Yeah, Miami Country Day School. Yeah, I seen that. I seen that. I think he has
Ooh,
a house down here already. I think
yeah, yeah.
he
Giselle
does.
stayed right across the river from him, like two
Okay.
houses down, right across the street. But there's like the street is the water.
Yeah, I think he's done in Tampa. To be honest, I mean, based on that season. I mean, to be honest, I think he should just retire. I think he should have retired a long time ago. But like I think because he didn't retire, that's reason why he got divorced and he's going through all of that. But then I also hear that she was having like an affair with her trainer, personal trainer, or
Yeah, she
something
was his
like
wife.
that. That was the main reason. So it's messed up if that's the situation, but it obviously affected him, because he was not the same Tom Brady, man. Like for them to get dust out of Cowboys, who are just kind of average playoff game, and that game could have been worse. You know what I'm saying? If the kicker could have just made his extra points and field goals, he missed like 5 extra points in that game, which was crazy. It would have been much worse in that game. And like, I think he's absolutely done at Tampa Bay. If he comes down to Miami, like I said, I'm not so sold on him, like just rejuvenating the franchise type of thing. If he comes, to be honest, I'd rather see Tua out there. You know what I'm saying? Just
damn.
yeah, I'd rather see Tua. I'd rather see a healthy Tua out there, because a healthy Tua was better than Tom Brady this season. You gotta admit, this season, I'm just talking about 2022 that just passed. A healthy Tua was better than Tom Brady. So I'd rather see Tua than Brady. But then again, Brady playing in this offense might be different. You know what I'm saying? Because if Brady's playing with this Mike McDaniel offense, who knows? Because in that offense he's playing at Tampa, you know, that head coach was a defensive coach, man. And usually defensive coaches, you know, like in this day and age, don't really work that well. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at the great teams that are out there, you know, I think that's what's Buffalo's problem. Their head coach is a defensive minded coach, you know, but and when Tampa won it, they had a different coach. They didn't have this coach that they have now, more of an offensive mind. So I think that plays a factor. And obviously McDaniel is a offensive mind. So I don't know. Maybe it could be different. I'm not saying no, please don't happen. But I'm not just totally sold. You know me, I got to be sold on stuff to really believe in, you know? And I got to see Tom Brady go out there and come back in a game like Tua did against Baltimore for me to be like, okay, I'm sold. But for right now, from what I've seen from last season, it looks like he's done, man. And I think he should be done. You got 7 rings, right?
Yeah.
7 rings. Yeah, like that. And you've been to 10 Super Bowls. Like, come on, man. Like, you've done everything that you could possibly done. He
haven't done everything.
What hasn't he
done?
He
hates Bill Belichick. He hates Bill Belichick. What would be the biggest slap in the face to go to the enemy and win them a Super Bowl? Now, for me, you know, you saying that he's a shell of himself, you think he should retire? That would be the perfect guy to be our backup. Because Teddy Bridgewater, your bitch ass needed to retire a long time ago. You feel me? I would have Brady as the backup. But we know Brady, he's not going to be no backup, though.
He is not going to be no backup, bro. Not at all.
Everybody got a dream. I could dream.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be crazy. If it happened, it would be cool. But
because you know Tua's going to be injured, right?
What's that?
Imagine you know that Tua goes down and Tom Brady is the backup. Imagine that. You wouldn't even care if Tua got injured. You'd be like, okay, all right, Tom Brady, hold it down till Tua come back, or just hold it down until you get injured, which probably don't happen. You know what I'm saying? That would be the best situation.
It's only going to happen on Madden, bro. That's only going to happen on Madden for right now, bro. Let's just play that out on Madden so we could just enjoy it on Madden. I don't think that's going to happen in real life, but it's definitely a possibility. Obviously, we lost our draft pick because we were tampering with Tom Brady. We don't have a draft pick in this upcoming draft because we was talking to Tom Brady. So obviously, there's an interest there between two sides. So it definitely could be a possibility. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to happen. The way he's talking, it sounds like he's going to stay with Green Bay. Lamar Jackson, I think, is still a possibility. Derek Carr, I think, still a possibility. And I think that's it. I think that's where we stand as far as our quarterbacks, or we're just going to roll with who we got. We probably could just get another backup quarterback. Ted's got to be out of here because, you know, we need somebody that can stay healthy and, you know, be efficient. Somebody who's just a little bit better than Teddy to be the backup. Skylar Thompson, I don't think is the guy to be the backup. You know what I'm saying? And I think
he beat Buffalo. He beat Buffalo.
He did not beat Buffalo. We almost won. I know in your head you think we won. We
Oh
almost
yeah. We lost to Buffalo. We almost beat Buffalo. With a
almost
backup
beat
quarterback. Almost. You feel me?
almost close.
Yeah, I'm over here still dreaming.
But who was your Super Bowl pick, by the way?
I don't even
I,
remember, but I think
I think
Cincinnati.
I think I picked Cincinnati. I picked Cincinnati
No,
and
last year you picked Cincinnati.
I picked Cincinnati on the last
I need to
podcast.
go back and check because I think
Yeah.
because
I think
who
I
was
think you got Kansas City and Philly. I think
nah,
that.
we both said Buffalo
Oh no, you said San Francisco. You said San Francisco and you said Kansas City. That's who you said.
to
Which
go to the
those
Super Bowl.
to go to the Super Bowl, yeah. And
I,
and
I changed.
I had Cincinnati and San Francisco. Both, we have a chance to get that. And I put some bread. I put some bread too. I put bread on Cincinnati and San Francisco to get to the Super Bowl before the playoffs started. If that happens, I get it wasn't a lot. $40 to get $500, which is pretty good.
Shit, that's a lot. Hell, 40 to
Which is
500, that's
pretty damn
good.
good. Wifey, I'm gonna start doing this every year with Wifey. And Wifey picked two teams as well, and she picked Kansas City and Philly. She picked Kansas City and Philly. So her
Y'all
two
win
teams
anyway.
are still in it. But the
So
situation where we don't win, if Philly and Cincinnati is a Super Bowl, we both lose. If Kansas City and San Francisco, your picks go.
nah, I gotta change my pick. My pick is gonna be your pick. You feel me? Because because my whole thing is I wanna say um the Kansas City Chiefs will actually win, but Burrow got his number. Like he beat him the last 3 times. You feel me? I think this is gonna be the 4th time. They haven't lost since October.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn, like Burrow, he's doing his thing. Did you see what the I guess the coach of Buffalo said about Jamar Chase and I don't want to be garbage all year just to get a number 1 receiver, something like that around the
Yeah, yeah.
lines.
I heard that. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's more fuel to the fire. You know what I'm saying? And I think some people saying in Kansas City that Cincy is talking reckless about Chief Stadium. I think they called it
They call
Burrow
it
Stadium, something
Burrowhead.
like
They call it
Burrowhead.
Burrowhead because the stadium is called Arrowhead. They call it
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kelsey don't like that. He don't like that. He was kind of saying that they're giving us a lot of bulletin board material, but me personally, I don't think none of that is actually gonna make you want to play a little bit harder. You want to win already. So unless it's real personal, like you really personally hate someone, then I don't think it's really gonna play a factor. And even if you personally hate someone, sometimes that'd be a detriment to yourself. They tell people that's boxers, stay focused, don't get mad. And when you really have a personal issue with somebody, it's kind of hard not to get mad. So hopefully it's just people just talking shit to each other. I'm going to change my bet. Like I said, San Fran versus Cincy in the Super Bowl.
But
I
I don't know if it will but if it does, it'll be crazy because like I said, remember I was saying Brock Purdy sounds like Tom Brady, what I'm saying? Like,
and you were Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, last pick in the draft. Like, dude looks like he's 12 and he's out there playing a really, really good team, a bunch of ballers all over that team. If he pulls that off, that'd be crazy. But at the other side of it, you got Jalen Hurts, black quarterback. You know what I'm saying? You always kind of root for the black quarterback in the situation. And he kind of, he was replaced by Tua. You know what I'm saying? He was replaced by Tua in the championship game. And then left to Oklahoma, did well. He was like 4th in the Heisman voting. So he wasn't even a first round pick, a second round pick. And Philly didn't even believe in him that first year. They wanted to trade him. And he came out this year, balled out. So I don't know. I kind of, I don't like Philly. I don't like the team. I
I
just
don't
don't.
like the fans.
I don't like the fans, but the Jalen Hurts story I think is a good story in itself. And then you got Patrick Mahomes, man. Patrick Mahomes. I mean, what can you say about him? He's baby goat right now. He in his first 3 years, I think is this his third year or fourth year? I think
I think it's like his fourth year.
I think it's fourth year because
No,
he
this is
didn't
his
play.
fifth year. Fifth year in the championship game.
Yeah, I mean, he just to see if he can do it with a bum ankle and with all the odds pretty much against him, no Tyreek. I mean, it's an interesting story. I'm gonna be watching both games. I mean, this is the first time I'm actually excited to watch both games to see how they turn out.
Oh yeah. Wifey she gonna have to deal with it. I know my team is out. Wifey be like, all right, now it's time for us, time for our shows, time to go out. We don't need to worry about football or anything like that. But yeah, man, like you said, man, I gotta watch these games. Me personally, I like Purdy. You know what I'm saying? I like him. When we was at the bar, I hated him, but for him, whooping our ass. But besides that, he reminds me of Tua, Mr. Efficient. You feel what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying?
Making mistakes.
Like, what can people was ragging on us thinking that we were just suck, but like shit. I mean, he been winning ever since. I don't think he lost the game since he took the job. And Trey Lance, you better hope he lose, boy. You better hope he lose because they will be trading your ass, my boy. You feel me?
Yeah, and Garoppolo too.
Yeah, shit, Garoppolo. They told his ass, to leave a long time ago. It just, certain things happen.
Somebody who should be our backup, though. That's somebody who should be our backup quarterback, like a guy like Garoppolo.
Maybe
backup to him.
Tom Brady.
Facts, big facts.
You feel me? So yeah, man. I'm looking forward to them games. They both playing on Sunday, or one playing Saturday, one playing Sunday.
Both playing on Sunday, back to back.
Okay. Hopefully, damn, I know both of them one's gonna be a late time game, and the other one, hopefully, y'all don't start at 4. Come on, man. Let me get a game at 1:00, please.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like at 3 and like 6, something like that.
Okay, all right, I can deal with that, especially for two teams that's not my team. I kind of get jiggy with it.
Yeah. Let's see. A couple of things I wanted to talk about before we get out of here. You heard about Usain Bolt, bro?
Nah.
Usain.
Oh
Bolt.
Yeah.
Yo, Usain Bolt, the track star, won a bunch of gold medals, was the fastest man for like a bunch of years from Jamaica, had a bunch of money stolen from him, millions, like $10 million stolen from him. First of all, bro, how does that happen? How did that happen, bro? Like, how is it that somebody steals that much money out of your account and I think they're trying to get America to really kind of help investigate the situation. They get money back. But how in the world does that happen? You lose
Is it not insured over there in Jamaica, like over here? FDIC like insured? Like,
yeah, I don't know, but like that's just crazy, man. Like
I'll be going to the bank like shit. It's probably what's happening to other people. You haven't been seeing what's happening to regular Americans. People go to their bank, you feel me, and the bank saying, like basically taking their money from them. Is out of their bank is wiped cleaned, or they're saying that if there was one individual, he got paid this morning or yesterday, and they didn't want to give him his money. They said that we never got a transaction from you, or this, that, and the other. I'm like, what? You seen that too, right, lady?
Yeah.
That's crazy. You feel me? I'm like, that make you want to be like that. I was talking to wifey, like, shit, like maybe I have to take my bread out of the damn bank and leave it in the safe or something like that. You feel what I'm saying? Because I don't want to wake up one day and I can't have access to my money, or from what I've been hearing recently, from the government, is saying that we're possibly going to have a cyber attack where we won't be able to use a lot of our things that we need an electrical spark. You know what I'm saying? So they was like talking about Teslas and other things like that. Like me, I'm like, hold up. Like, really? Like, is this really happening? So going back to Usain Bolt, come on, man. Like, how you put your money in the bank and
So
basically you get robbed.
yeah, so I just put up the story. The athlete's account with a Kingston-based, so Jamaica-based stocks and securities limited from nearly 12.8 million to $12,000.
What?
You know what I'm saying? And yes, they are trying to get the FBI to investigate the situation. He fired business manager, um, and early this week, Jamaican Finance Minister Nigel Clark announced that the Director of Financial Services was stepping down and that the Bank of Jamaica would now be in charge of the regulating the island's financial system. It's just crazy how you lose that much money.
And did it happen all at once or they gradually took the money?
I think they gradually took the money. I think I'm not sure. It doesn't really say.
Shit. Damn, boy. That's
But yeah,
crazy, man.
that's just a crazy story. I've seen that. Anytime wifey brings up a sports story, I always try to bring it up here because I was like, if she thinks it's relevant, then probably more people do. So she brought that up. I was like, damn, that's
Yeah,
great.
definitely. When I seen that, I'm like, what the hell happened to him? Did he try to invest his money in something and and it was like a scam? But from what you're reading, now the money was sitting in the bank and they just stole it. Like that is crazy. But hey, I mean, look, I just said, you have regular people like me and you going to the bank and not having access to their money.
Yeah,
And the bank saying call customer service and customer service ain't doing anything about it. I
right.
don't know. I mean, sometimes but what's more secure? People, growing up used to put money in the mattress, under the
Yeah,
mattress. I wouldn't say do that now, especially if you got $10 million, but I want to make sure I have access to my money. So just in case anything happened, a hurricane comes, a cyber attack happens, another pandemic happens, and I want to have access to my money. So if I got to just get up and go, I could just get up and go.
right.
I mean, that's worst case scenario. I mean, we're not a third world country, but like shit, we didn't think about a pandemic and that happened. So, it's just kind of being prepared. Leave some money in there, but always have some type of cash, like a certain amount of cash that you could probably live off of.
Yeah, yeah.
In case
I,
any
always-
of these
I
things
always
happen.
you always got to keep a cash stash. I think, especially when where we live, where there's hurricanes. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because whenever there's a hurricane, I make sure, well, like, make sure I have a cash stash. Just in case, because you might not be able to get your money out of the bank. You know.
Yep. Yep.
So anyway,
Damn, that's unfortunate. Damn, Usain Bolt. Well, the fastest man on the planet got his bread, took it the fastest way.
that bread bolted out of his account. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that is
Crazy.
crazy.
But
But yeah, man, you don't have anything else you want to add?
nah,
Or
that's pretty much it, man. We'll see who goes to the Super Bowl. We'll see who
Mhm.
commits to Miami this week, and I think that's about it.
So
Uh,
yeah, y'all could go ahead and follow Marcus on CanesCounty.com, on
yep,
Instagram, the Benjamin Report.
yes, sir.
You can follow us, Kane, the MarcWes Sports Podcast, all platforms. Same thing with Canes County, all platforms. And yeah, if you don't have anything else, I don't have anything else. We'll go ahead and wait and see until this Sunday, if it's gonna be in our favor, hopefully, so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can win some money too. And wifey can win some money too. But yeah, this will conclude this episode on the MarcWes Sports Podcast. Until the next episode. Peace.